So today I'm going to be talking about keeping up your standards without being unrealistic. Some may consider it as compromising too much, and others may say it's lowering your standards. But meeting someone new means that you will have to get to know them. And things like this can typically be like the principles, the lifestyle, and what they do for a living. Depending on who you are, compromising and lowering your standards can easily happen, and all while getting to know someone. That's important to know and pay attention to. And I just want you to imagine that you want to go on a romantic first date, and your partner, the person you're getting to know, suddenly wants to cook for you at the place, and when all you want is a steak and salad, maybe from a chef in a very nice restaurant. And of course, you will not want to be rude or sound being extremely demanding or very ungrateful for what they want to do. So it might sound like the most romantic and the most low cost things that you want to do for your partner or they want to do for you. But what happens when the expectations is high and is that you will always be happy with such a gesture, when this is something that you do not fancy but that's the right thing to do. When we go into relationship, we have these really high expectations and the standards about how our partners need to be and what a relationship should look like versus other relationships, especially now that we're looking on social media. We're trying to compare and we're constantly seeing what somebody else is doing. And although not always is intentional, but when we are unaware of them, they can lead to conflict later down the line. And who really wants to mess up the beginning stages of a relationship? High on love, there are a lot of things that we echo the yes, and we just basically want to say yes just because it sounds good and just because it will make the other person happy. But does that make you happy? And at this time, both of you are on your best behavior and putting the best foot forward because you want to impress the other person and you win them over to be your partner. But this in reality is unsuitable because we cannot always be on our best behavior. And as our relationship grows and evolves, we become more comfortable with each other. And that's something that happens all over the place. So we behave more reflective of our true nature self. And these sometimes make us conflict when we get to know each other. And when the truth about the expectations and standards comes out, you may feel like the person you're with has changed and that they're not the person you met and you fell in love with. And when we have these expectations that we don't communicate from the beginning with our partners, we are setting up ourselves for failure. And this will be something that you'll never be able to maybe change or maybe adjust again. Because living up to expectations that we don't know nothing about is unfair. It's unfair to you, it's unfair to them. And the word standards sometimes to an extent sounds like a demanding word, but this is not always the case. You shouldn't really have to lower your standards or expectations, but rather it's more about having realistic standards or expectations. Suppose your standards or expectations are too high. In that case, no one will be able to live up to them, which will cause you tremendous amount of conflict and sometimes even unhappiness, as you will not be able to sustain a long-term relationship. That's something to really look into, because no one will ever feel good enough for you, and that is something that can keep you single for a long time. And some of the healthy expectations to portray in a relationship include having someone to share a life with and do things with. because we all like socializing, going to the gym, travel, and having a partner that you can rely and trust, with someone to support us, care, and love us. And that's something that we all want. And to be honest, I think we need to be a little bit realistic. Sometimes your partner may opt to cook, or maybe just stay at home and having something romantic at home instead of going outside. And it's something that they might only be able to afford at that time. And that's something to take into consideration, because when you get to know each other, you might get to see, or they might get to see that you enjoy having anything that they want to do, making just a small effort to cater you, and to cut each other from some of the privileges, some of the expectations, because you need to realize them. There's nothing that you can tell that there's a perfect person in a relationship, and instead is how perfect you can be for each other and value each other, because respecting each other is what you want to succeed as a couple. I want to say that it's important for you not to focus on what's going wrong, but having an attitude of gratitude and appreciate each other for your uniqueness and value what each other are bringing to that relationship. Don't get your standards that high, and try and take in consideration that maybe at some times in life, it's not always what you want, but it's the intention and the approach, and appreciating one more time what that person is bringing into that relationship. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in my next episode.